Hey, YouTube, we're doing UK now, but I never want to hear a British person. Not much happening on Kick, just a lot of Zeke Highland. That's all. Um, but I honestly never want to hear a British person make fun of US media ever again. This happened. This happened, folks. Look at this. Hold on. Let me mute this music. Look at this. This was on the BBC.
And he's heading for 3-2-4. That's what he needs to win this election. Here he coming now. There's the line. He's well and truly across it. Let him celebrate. After all, this is the third successive victory for Tony Blair personally. There are his victories up there.
What in the world? They found this necessary. They paid for this. They had 3D modelers. Hey, Chem Goblin. I'm actually pretty well rested. I'm drinking coffee. I'm really stoned. And see, that's the thing. Well, what the hell is it, Equaldari? But look at this.
3-2-4. That's what he needs to win this.
It looks like, you know what people in the comment section were saying.
He's well and truly across.
It doesn't even remotely didn't pay much. Got him. Take that, BBC.
Let him celebrate. After all, this is the third successive
Nom, how you doing?
There are his
Wow. Okay, British people are no longer waiting for the Chinese to arrive. Like, no, British people are not allowed to make fun of us anymore. It does look like The Getaway. If you've ever played that on the PlayStation, it looks worse than The Getaway. Looks like crowd characters from Madden 97. Not Madden 97. Maybe like Madden 2002. Yeah, British people, you're no longer afraid. The Sims Parliament. Why is everyone so awesome? The internet is so great. I just love the internet. Welcome back, Full Metal. It's good to see you. The Harry Potter PS1 game. Oh, Lordy. Good stuff. Unfortunately, we have serious news as well. But I just wanted to rub that into my British viewers' noses. Emergency life-threatening alert system launched for on UK phones. I thought, you know, hey, this is actually useful information for fucking once. Literally useful. You might actually have use for this or something. So listen up, UK viewers.
An emergency alert service is being launched to warn people about potentially life-threatening events such as wildfires and severe flooding. The government is to test the system next month, meaning people will receive a siren-like message on their phone.
Oh, so we have this in the US.
Alice Porter, who's in the newsroom. So here we are. Here's my phone. What am I going to get on this trusty device?
Well, either on your phone or your tablet. If there is an emergency and the government want to alert you about it, your phone will vibrate. It will.
Yeah, remember this caused people in Hawaii to jump in the sewers because there was a glitch in the system and they got sent a message saying that there was a nuclear attack imminent. I'm not joking. That happened, what, 2 years ago?
Read a message out to you, and there will be a siren that will go for about 10 seconds. I think we can hear a little bit of what that will sound like.
Yeah. Yeah. Same exact fucking thing. Yep.
So this is the alert that will only be sent by...
Like some kid will get kidnapped in your area and you'll get one of these and it'll like describe the car and everything, right? Like it really does. Like if you're a kidnapper, you're fucked like within minutes. And you can opt out of it. There actually is a way to opt out of it.
By the emergency services, all government bodies which are dealing with an emergency, and they'll only be sent when there is an immediate risk to people's lives. And that includes things like severe flooding, fires, extreme weather, and public health emergencies. It's also hoped that almost 90% of mobile phones in a defined area could be reached under the new plans. Now, this system has been...
Yeah, I think we're going to have to disagree there, Pickling. Yeah, I think I disagree with you, bud.
being tested in local parts of the country, but it's also hoped that on the 23rd of April, everybody in the country will receive one of these alerts. And the idea is that by having everyone in the country receive it, they also have to acknowledge it as well. And that will be, they won't be able to continue using their phone unless they acknowledge it. And that's going to be on the 23rd of April.
And is that going to cause any privacy concerns, briefly? Because the fact that
it's totally anonymous.
In a way, some might say, is looking at how the phones are operating.
Well, the Cabinet Office have been keen to stress that they are not keeping anyone's personal data, and I think it's important.
No, a system like this doesn't need your personal data. I'm not defending it if it is collecting, of course. I don't think it is, though, because a system like this can operate perfectly fine without taking in a bunch of data. It's probably using like phone number, area code data, right? And it's really generalized. You're not gonna. It doesn't require pinpoint accuracy in terms of being able to nail this down to the individual for it to work properly.
To stress that this people's personal data isn't being used. You're not having a text message sent to your own personal mobile. What it is that if you're in the vicinity of an emergency, they know that because of data that's being gathered from cell towers, and that's how it's working. But I think from the government's perspective, they've looked at other countries, the US, Canada, that have got a similar scheme that's been rolled out there. They're really hoping that it could be instrumental, particularly in cases of extreme weather, such as flooding, the fires we saw last summer as well. But it also has an enormous amount of potential if there is a terrorist attack. They've not said they're going to be rolling out for that, but they are going to be looking at the potential. But also, people cannot opt out of this. They don't have to continue with it, but the government is very much hoping that people will continue with it and saying it could save lives.
Yeah. It's usually on by default, and you got to dig for the setting to turn it off. So you definitely have, it takes some effort to opt out of it. 90% of people don't even know that they can opt out of it. Because it does not happen very often. Yeah. This guy's funny. I thought this guy was great. And it gives us a rundown of some of the latest UK news, but this guy's great. Can we get more of this, please? I miss this style of political commentary, the cranky old man style of political commentary. I miss this.
Budget.
When will things actually get better, Chancellor?
Good.
We're expecting to hear from the Chancellor in just a few moments' time.
But the reality is no one really knows.
Muppet.
This is a great example.
Yeah, we will have a Pakistan update that is coming up. Just so everyone knows, we're doing Ecuador, Canada, fascist update, France, then U.S., actually fascist than U.S., then France, Iraq, finance, Pakistan, and then Ukraine. That's all the news that we're going to be having today. Well, I mean, we were covering Moldova. The protests in Moldova seem pretty genuine. I don't see any evidence that they were astroturfed.
Of this government getting things done and delivering for the British people.
These are the interesting times.
That's funny. He just fucking leaves. Yeah, it's pretty goddamn big news. The protests are pretty crazy. The Amir Khan has been, I think he was, I mean, yeah, we will be covering it, but yeah, what is it that he's, the police have been raided his house. The court, they canceled the arrest, which is, I mean, it just shows how, like, I mean, the history of Pakistan is really quite tragic. It really, really is. They haven't had a PM go to full term. Even Amir Khan had his own corruption and other bullshit when he was in charge. So it really is a tragic situation happening over there in Pakistan. We will be getting to it very soon. I don't know about this logo, bro. I'm not sure about this logo, man. I think this logo is a big thumbs down from me, my friend. Gonna say no on the Disney font. Okay. All right, Nom. So far, I disagree. The evidence that I've seen does not point to that.
Hello, everybody. My name's Matt Johnson, and welcome to The Interesting Times, which is a show that likes to take a sideways swipe at politics right here in the UK. It was a budget this week.
See, and the hyper-partisan people back, like the sycophants aren't doing anyone any favors either. Xanif TV. It doesn't help to just ignore the corruption of the person that they're trying to support. That style of politics is why Pakistan is in the state that it's in, right? Oh, there's no corruption. There's none of that. Yes, there was. There was all kinds of corruption with Amir Khan, just like all the other Pakistan, But the fact is that Amir Khan probably did have some left-leaning intentions, progressive intentions. Yeah. Goodbye, Pickling. Motherfucking glory to the Ukrainian democracy, and I hope they kick Russians' ass, and I hope the Moldovan people get independence from the Russian Empire, because they deserve it.
This gave Chancellor of the Exchequer a walking rice pudding, bland, white and thin-skinned, Jeremy Hunt his first chance to show that he wasn't as bad as Kwasi Kamikaze Kwarteng. So, how did he do? Well, the two standout policies are free childcare for parents of up to 30 hours per week, which is bad news for those without children, and also bad news for those with children.
I don't like you.
But it's good news for those without children but plan on having children, as the policy will start by 2025. Or knowing this government in 2025, as it'll be after the next general election when Labour will be in power. Basically, Conservative Party is bragging about something it doesn't have to pay for. The other policy, and at the other end of life, is pensions.
Some have also asked me to increase the lifetime allowance from its £1 million limit. But I've decided not to do that. Instead, I will go further and abolish the lifetime allowance altogether.
Yeah, basically, the pension allowance, which was just over £1 million, will be gone entirely. Meaning, if you're old and have lots and lots of money, then you can put as much away as you like. And no delay with this one, it's in place from next month. Of course, with the debt being what it is, somebody has to pay for all this. And yes, it's us, the great unwashed. The income tax and national insurance threshold for poor working families are being frozen, much like our houses have been for the last few months. This is a process called fiscal drag, which presumably will see Lawrence Fox, Calvin Robinson and a GB News team turn up to 10 Downing Street to protest. Not in front of our kids. But it wasn't all terrible. You'll be pleased to know that there is an 11p cut in a pint of beer in pubs, but not in supermarkets. So, the good news is that you can go to your local and drown your sorrows with others in the same boat. The bad news, you don't know who you might run into there. And Jeremy is certainly happy with the job that Jeremy's doing. He's even keeping the energy cap of £2,500 in place, so people's heating won't cost as much. Just in time for spring. He went on this morning with Phil and Holly and sat there with all the charm of an insurance clerk telling their clients why they aren't covered for that medical procedure.
How do we know that you've got a handle on this?
Well, look, there's always a bit of a pantomime element to the exchanges in Parliament. We have 2.5 million people who are long-term sick and disabled, not in work. Many of them would like to work. Now, the world has changed in the last few years. There are lots of jobs you can do from home on using Teams or Zoom and using a computer. And we think that many of those people would like to work, and we can make it possible.
Oh, no, it isn't. Oh, no, seriously, it isn't.
They're such liars.
What makes the Chancellor's boast about lower inflation so ridiculous? Yeah. The idea that it's a tax cut. British people can see through that. Yeah. They see their tax burden at its highest level for 70 years. Yeah. And they know it's not the government that's lowering inflation, it's working people, earning less, enjoying less.
That's right, tax breaks for the rich, tax depths for the poor, and this has been described as a back-to-work budget, which seems to have worked as the nurses may be going back to work following an increased offer. Where was this before? And Rishi Sunak is very pleased with himself.
I'm delighted to say that the government has reached agreement with unions representing over 1 million NHS workers.
God, he's fair
and reasonable.
He is such a fake.
This is a great example of this government getting things done and delivering for the British people.
I mean, he's such a fake
not sure why
phony,
you have done
dude.
This before, but that's great news. Just one question: where's the money coming from?
So an important question, how much is it going to cost and how will it be funded?
Well, we've been clear that it will not come at the expense of impact on patients.
He hasn't offered any new money. He didn't in the budget.
We've been very clear in terms of the conditions of the discussions we had with the trade unions that this will not come from patient-facing
the YouTuber.
Are you at all impacted by the idea, as Helia says, that it may be funded out of NHS existing budgets? Would that make a difference?
We're appalled to learn that today because throughout this whole process, the government has been saying that this will be new money. It was one of the conditions for the unions entering into the current phase of talks. So we're appalled to hear that news. First of all, we've been misled. And secondly, this is about saving the NHS.
There you go. Once a Conservative, always a conservative. I talk a lot about Jonathan Gullish and Lee Anderson on this show. 30p Lee and the Kent from Stoke-on-Trent. It's getting a bit repetitive.
30p
Thankfully,
Lee.
There's a new git in town. Step forward MP for Blackpool South and bad Alan Bennett impressionist Scott Benton. And while Gullish goes on the news to spout crap and Anderson records his own videos, for Scott, there's nothing quite like showing yourself off or up at work.
She's speaking of safe and legal routes. Given that globally there are over 100 million displaced people.
You got to watch it. That's a lot. If you're not careful, it could get even bigger.
Our public services are already creaking under enormous pressure, and we simply can't accept hundreds of millions of people.
Wow. Well,
and that's why my paymasters have told me that illegal immigration is a good enemy or boogeyman to use, so the stupids will vote for me. Please continue to vote for me, stupids.
The next logical step is, of course, billions. Billions of people trying to get into this country. The entire population of the planet travelling on a barely seaworthy vessel. And why stop there? How about billions of people trying to get into your town? Or the entire population of the world, just shy of 8 billion people, trying to get into your house? Hello? I can't come into work today. Yes, I'm afraid the 4 million people that used to live in New Zealand are actually in my bathroom at the moment, and it's going to take me 45 years to brush my teeth. And if you think that sounds ridiculous, you clearly haven't lived in this country any time in the last 3.5 years. As a local Blackpool maths
phone
expert,
in the background.
a retired teacher calculated how long it would take for 100 million people to apply for asylum. And he estimated 1,388 years, taking us to 3411 AD. Although the cost of all this processing...
What he's trying to show here is just how incredibly hyperbolic the conservatives are being to fearmonger that, you know, your country's being taken over. It's interesting to me how, you know, because it plugs into people's natural awkwardness around, you know, people of different cultures and colors. So they don't really need to fill in the blank, right? Because I guess the idea is that if we get rid of these other people, our lives will get considerably better. But they're never, ever, by their constituency, they're never, ever, you know, pinned against the wall and say, okay, yeah, you're going after this, you know, these food vendors and these carpenters and these other, you know, tradespeople that are all scary. And some of them are, you know, some of them do commit crimes like, you know, like everyone does. You know, so you're going after them. How is that going to, you know, directly affect me? How is that going to make my life better? Right. They're never pushed against, they're never pushed on that because that doesn't really matter because it's just an excuse. They don't care if they don't get anything out of this. This is really just about, yes, make them go away. They make me feel uncomfortable. I don't like them. I have arbitrary reasons why I don't like them. And yes, just, you know, that's what this is about. And, it's really dangerous. It's really dangerous because it very easily and very quickly turns into violence.
Will slightly be offset by the first economic benefits of Brexit we should be getting that year. And that's it. No time to talk about Boris Johnson being reselected by his constituents to sit at the next election in Uxbridge and South Ruislip, which may be sooner than he thinks. Johnson is sitting in front of the Partygate committee on Wednesday as he faces questions about knowingly misleading Parliament on whether a meeting of people that involved alcohol, food and karaoke was actually a party. Some Conservative MPs have called this a witch hunt. Yeah, as in Witch Hunt thought this was a good idea.
Well, that's an interesting poem that you just posted there, Chad Mary. 3 minutes long, narrated by a parakeet. Your salary is paid. So let me just show what this is. I guess this is boring. I don't know. This is kind of boring me. Why is this so boring to me? I don't get it. It's presented in a way I think I like. A river of boiling shit flows through your town. You haven't seen a tomato for 18 months. MOTD is 3 minutes long and narrated by a parakeet. Your salary is paid directly to British Gas. You solve a riddle to speak to a GP. You feel people come here because they want an easy life? Wow. You know, you ever read something and think, man, there are people that are way, way fucking smarter than you. You ever do that? You ever read something and go like, whoa, there are people that are just way fucking smarter than me. And I feel, that's how I feel reading that. That is brilliant.
No time to talk about the SNP's man at Westminster, Stephen Flynn, who is having rather a good time of it.
What a complete and utter disgrace, Mr. Speaker. But whilst it may shock, it shouldn't necessarily...
Well, thank you for that, Chad Mary.
...surprise. Speaker, on Monday, as households in Scotland were awakening to freezing temperatures, they were met with the news that the electricity grid had been upgraded in order to meet the power demands of the Prime Minister's new swimming pool. So may I ask him, was it whilst he was taking a leisurely dip that he decided to...
You can actually hear him doing the little fake laugh, because they do that, you know, anytime they're called out. They have some little excuse, or they'll just give you a non sequitur.
So may I ask him, was it whilst he was taking a leisurely dip that he decided to leave households drowning in their energy bills? You've got to wonder what planet he's on. From whom are his government taking inspiration? Nigel Farage or Enoch Powell?
You could almost forget what's happening north of the border. Almost.
Together, they turned the SNP into an election-winning juggernaut. Now, just weeks after Nicola Sturgeon's shock resignation as First Minister, her husband, the party's chief executive, Peter Murrell, has quit with immediate effect. Reports the SNP had lost around 30,000 members were at first denied by the head of communications, Murray Foote. After they were confirmed, he quit yesterday night, suggesting he'd been given inaccurate information by SNP headquarters. Mr. Murrell said he didn't want to become a distraction from the leadership race.
There you go. If a member of the SNP misleads the public, they resign.
Man, I'm sorry. I don't mean to make fun, but in America, this does look a little silly to us, but it's just funny, right?
Man in SNP headquarters.
Man in garish skirt does not want any attention directed towards him.
Mr. Murrell said he didn't want to become a distraction from the leadership race.
There you go.
Chad Mary, my name is Abandon Nihilism. My goal is to show people that through fighting back, you can create a purpose for yourself. The fact is that nihilism is taking over the planet. It's being reinforced because it benefits empire and oligarchy. We must destroy nihilism. We must abandon nihilism and replace it with a fight for meaning through existentialism.
Go. If a member of the SNP misleads the public,
I don't know,
a message
move on,
to
buddy.
The SNP. You won't get very far in politics if you keep doing the honourable thing, you know. Honestly. Dishonestly. No time to talk about the UK banning TikTok from all government phones, but Grant Shapps is planning on staying on TikTok. He sent out a meme from Wolf of Wall Street saying, "I'm not fucking leaving." December 2024, we'll see. There are security concerns over TikTok and the possibility that the Chinese government could pressure the companies to hand over users' personal information. It's an extra bonus for Grant Shapps as you get 4 users' information. But if the Chinese want the Tory government's personal information, then they can damn well pay for it like the Russians did. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you are enjoying these videos, then please don't forget to like, subscribe.
Like and subscribe, folks. I guess this is really good for personal viewing. I guess it's not good. I know, like, the jokes are so clever and so smart. I think he's got to do something with his mic. At the same time, I feel like this guy's got some real chops. He's funny as hell. He's actually too clever for me, but I love him all the same. Check him out. The Interesting Times. Make sure you like and subscribe, folks. All right, we're moving on from UK over to